Hey everybody, this is Dr. William Clark here. So happy to be with you again for another edition of the Nonprofit Leadership Blog and Podcast. I am excited to be talking with you today, and we've been in this series of podcasts talking about developing the right strategy for your nonprofit. We've uploaded two previous podcasts. Part one was talking about identifying where you are right now, and it's a description and a picture of what's going on in your organization, what's going on around your organization. And the last podcast we uploaded was a part two, which is, where would you like to be? What's your vision for the future? And that is so vital. And I did share with you guys in the last podcast that it's difficult to talk about the future and your vision for the future if you're not honest about where you are right now. You need that honesty because that is the starting point from going from where you are now to where you want to go. So here's part three to this podcast. And that part three is determining how to get to where your vision says you want to be. Now, it's great to have this big vision. It's great to have this grandiose idea of what you want to do and how you want to do it. But here's the reality, right? Once you come down off the high of saying, yeah, we're going to change the world this time, I guarantee it, the real work begins. And that real work is, what steps are we going to take to get to where we want to go? How do we do that? And I just really want to coach you through that thought process of thinking about how to get to where you want to go. Number one, you want your steps to be practical. You want all of your action steps to be practical. Now, practical steps can be a subjective statement because what's practical for one group may not be practical for another group. But for you, you have to make sure that the steps you are able to take are within your realm of control right now. And if they are not within your realm of control, then you have to add to one of your practical steps, creating the infrastructure to put certain things in your realm of control so that you can go ahead and go where you want to go to achieve your vision. Now, that does take a lot of infrastructure development. That does take a lot of coaching, a lot of organizational design, perhaps changes in leadership structure, etc. But it's an important question to answer. What infrastructure steps do we need to put in place? Who do we need to become so that we can actively achieve our goals step by step? The second thing you want to think about in terms of how to get to where we want to go is, what partners do we need to engage in this process? Who can help us? In fact, you may not have the capacity to achieve your vision by yourself. And after going through a thorough discussion, you may determine you may not ever have the capacity, and it may not ever make sense to develop the capacity to achieve this mission by yourself or this vision by yourself. But you may come up with the idea of, man, maybe if we had a great strategic partner to do this particular task for us or with us, that will lighten our load, it will save on our resources, and we'll remain in our capacity to do what we're capable of doing. So who do you need to bring along in that journey? And that is a great conversation to have because there are a lot of nonprofits who do a really good job of collaborating or working with partners along the way. But one of the things I've observed about nonprofits and their idea of collaboration is that some nonprofits define collaboration as a kumbaya session or doing work together arm in arm. And the reality is collaboration is much more deeper than that. Collaboration, in fact, is the idea of relying on the services of one partner while you back off and do your role, and you come together and bring both of your work products together to get to a desired end. It is all about trust. It is all about reliance. It is all about focus on your stuff and allowing your partner to focus on their stuff and combining both of your stuff together to achieve what you're looking to achieve. And the last thing I'll share with you in terms of how to get to where you want to go is to do an assessment of the staff and other resources that you need to make that happen. So if you do have staff on board and they don't have the capacity to fulfill some of the responsibilities that you've identified as you're going through the strategy development process, there are a few options you can explore. Number one, you can look to build their capacity, right? Put them through training, train them yourself. Number two, you might want to consider releasing them of their responsibility. The third option you might want to consider is keeping them on and keeping them focused on the tasks that they're doing because what they're doing may be extremely valuable to the nonprofit. And if that's so, you might want to consider hiring an additional staff person or persons, or consider hiring individuals who are temp in nature, temp employees or people who would do one-off gig responsibilities, etc. And this is where the gig economy can help a nonprofit extremely well. So those are some quick options to think about when you're thinking about how do I get to achieving my mission, achieving my vision, achieving this future that we're creating. There are many, many more steps that we can walk through. And for some nonprofits, it's very extensive. For others, it's not as extensive. But this podcast and a series of podcasts are meant to begin the process of you thinking through what does it take for us to develop the appropriate strategy for us that uniquely describes and defines us, helps describe, define, and shape our future, and helps us remain unique from our partners and unique from competitors in the marketplace. Remember, one of the things that I write about in one of my previous blogs is that there's extreme competition for resources. And there are many mechanisms by which you can gain resources for your nonprofit, but because you are competing for resources and because resources are limited, your strategy has to be extremely important to you and unique to you and your skill sets of your organization in order for you to find the success you're looking for. Look, friends, I hope this is helpful. Stay tuned to our podcast. Stay tuned to our website. Keep up with what we're doing. We're at elipatrick.com, and we are here to help you. We're here to serve you. We're here to inform you as best we can. So the next time, guys, see you during the next edition of the Nonprofit Leadership Blog and Podcast.